The Baltimore Ravens shocked the sports world by firing John Harbaugh, but luckily for John, him and the Giants seem like a match made in heaven. And today we're going to put that to the test in Madden 26 as we complete the first ever John Harbaugh Giants rebuild to see if we can bring the Giants back to the Super Bowl. But with this being Harbaugh's first time as a head coach for somebody other than the Ravens, before we start his first season in New York, we have to acquire 5 of his former players, rather that be through free agency or via trade. But which of his former players do we go after? First thing though, actually kind of hilarious in this particular franchise, would you look at who won the Super Bowl? No sweat off of Harbaugh's back though, because he knows good and well this team is going to win the Super Bowl rather than later, because he has star quarterback Jackson Dart for the end of his rookie season up to an 82 overall, and more than likely will be Harbaugh's next Lamar Jackson. Outside of that, Scatterbo is going to be his Derrick Henry. He's got a pretty good receiving core in Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, which is kind of crazy. At the end of this franchise in year 1, Wan'Dale Robinson is all the way up to an 86 rated superstar. But when it comes to Harbaugh needing to acquire some of his former players this offseason, we probably need to target some of his former offensive linemen, because this Giants offensive line is pretty garbage. And honestly, when it comes to defense, dude, it's pretty loaded. Like, Abdul Carter's an 86 overall superstar to start with. You got Brian Burns on the other side at 90. Secondary, kind of stinky. Like, hopefully you can see a little bit more out of Tyler Nubin, and probably need some better corners. So maybe we acquire some former Raven cornerbacks. But I'm pretty confident that yours truly and John Harbaugh as a collective unit can bring this Giants team to a Super Bowl in just a handful of seasons. Before the offseason does begin, I want to see, okay, we didn't have anybody too important retire, just our kicker, long snapper, and Gregory. Anybody retire after losing Harbaugh as their head coach in Baltimore? No, nobody quit. Now, it looks like this offseason, we're going to have roughly about $50 million to work with. That's before we try to renegotiate some of these contracts. So most of these impending free agents, I could care less about. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing back Jermaine, but at the same time, he's going to cost me like $10 million. I probably can draft his replacement. Evan Neal, big time bust. I'm not giving him $25 million. Micah McFadden, again, not a bad depth piece, but I'm not going to give him $14 mil. Dane Belton, we probably can do better at strong safety. Deontay Banks, I'm probably going to try and not actually accept that 5th-year option. I'm not giving him $20 million. I do want to try and bring back Cordero Flocks. We're already kind of weak at cornerback. And of course, I do want to try to bring back Wan'Dale Robinson. He's just going to be very, very expensive though. Like, he's going to be about $20 million per season towards our cap hit. Before I do anything, let's see if we can bring back Cordero Flott. 81 rated, gonna ask for about $10 million per season. You know what? Let me just give him the base offer and see what he says. He's electing for free agency, which I'm definitely not gonna franchise tag him for $26 million a season. So, a little unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world to miss out on an 81 rated corner. Now, when it comes to Dane Belton, like, we already have Tyler Nubin sitting there. Hopefully, he can develop, because I just don't think I'm gonna give Dane $20 million over 3 seasons to be a backup. I mean, I guess I could offer Micah McFadden. He's only asking for like $4 million a season. I'm not going to up the money any more than just a little bit, and he is going to enter free agency. What I do want to do really fast is I want to see if there's any players I could potentially trade away that would make sense and help me save a little bit of money. Like John Runyon here, he'd save me like $10 million a season. Let me see if there's any potential Ravens I could trade for, flip John Runyon, send him to John Harbaugh's former team, and maybe at the same time bring a player in at a position that we need. Not going to lie, it's not looking too good. I feel like this would make a lot more sense if I did this after free agency. Let's just see if anybody out there wants John. It's not looking too hot. You know what? Give me Troy Franklin to be our potential Wan'Dale Robinson replacement, and we'll call it even. That looks pretty good. Well, Darius Slayton, man, he's costing me $15 million a season. If we traded him away, I feel like we should very easily be able to afford Wan'Dale Robinson's contract extension and then have money left over to sign impending free agents. Okay, we could potentially bring in Tank Dell, which is, I feel like, an interesting fit. Actually, what if we went ahead and tried to bring in Jalen Petrie, 86 rated? You guys know we desperately need a #1 cornerback, and I feel like this would be massive, but we're going to need a little bit more in this deal. Also, wouldn't mind getting rid of Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, he's costing us $15 million a season. We're not going to re-sign him, because on the other side, we already have Brian Burns and Abdul Carter locked in for the next 3 years. So would this allow us to bring in a brand new #1 cornerback to the New York Giants secondary that didn't even bump it up at all? The Saints are offering me Kool-Aid McKinstry, but I feel like that's a little bit light. Okay, I don't mind that, especially when you consider we saved like $30 million with this trade. Runyon, Slayton, Kayvon Thibodeau for Kool-Aid McKinstry, and a future third, and a this year's 5th round draft pick. I feel like this was a really good salary dump, bring in a new #1 corner. We're following the moves. We now have $76 million to work with. So absolutely do not mind offering Wan'Dale Robinson something kind of crazy here. Unfortunately, he has no interest in coming back for some reason. But unfortunately, I'll probably have to up the money a little bit. The good thing again now is I can afford it. And if worse comes to worse, since we have the money, if I need to, I can franchise tag him. Hopefully he'll accept, which he doesn't. Again, I can franchise tag him for $41 million. Like, do I tag him and immediately trade him away? That's a tactic, right? Because we're absolutely not going to be losing him for nothing. So we are going to franchise tag him, which, as you see, drops our cap room quite a bit. Let's see if this is where we can start to do a little bit of crazy business. If we are going to trade him away, doesn't want to be a Giant. I don't want him to be here. What could we get from the Ravens in return? I'm sure. I mean, he's a premier superstar wide receiver. We should be able to get something decent. What about Tyler Lindenbaum? Straight up, potentially. Trade was accepted. Looks like the Ravens were in the market for another premier wide receiver. Apparently, them and Tyler Lindenbaum couldn't work out a contract, so we basically trade one player that wouldn't sign long-term for another player that wouldn't sign long-term. So I think for both teams, this is a win-win. And at the same time, Coach Harbaugh acquires his first former Raven, which apparently it looks like I don't have to try and lock him down until next season, but we got to keep that in mind. If I lose Wan'Dale for nothing, I'm going to be sad. So hopefully we can lock down Tyler to a long-term extension sometime next season. But with that, let's get into free agency and see how things are looking. Which, friends, not going to lie, does not look like the best of free agencies. I know we could go after Gilman here, the former Raven. Like, we need a new starting strong safety, so he'd actually make a lot of sense for at least the next couple seasons. Wouldn't have to trade for one, wouldn't have to draft one. So let's see what he thinks about a little 3-year offer. Hopefully nobody else is bidding for him. And yes, we are currently the favorites over my Titans, which if we can lock him down, that would make Harbaugh's second former player acquired. Also, a big man that we desperately could use, Kevin Zeitler here. Played for Harbaugh, I think, for about 3 seasons. We desperately need a new starting right guard, and he would be perfect for at least a 1-year option. So surely Kevin wants to come play for his former coach, right? Looking good so far, since we're his only offer. Now, also, Devin Bush makes a lot of sense. We didn't bring back Micah McFadden. Our best will linebacker on the entire roster is Darius Mwasu. He's not asking for too much money either, so I'm just going to give him the base offer and hope Devin Bush wants to become a New York Giant. Would be a perfect fit, high overall player. Oh, it looks like we're going to have to fend off the 49ers here. I have to offer him a little bit more money, which I don't mind doing so. Don't want to up it way too much, though. There we have it. Hopefully we can lock down Devin as well. Now, Joel Bitonio, another veteran option at guard, which our offensive line, as you guys saw, was terrible. And I know he's 34, so not a long-term option, but he would be fantastic for next year. It'd be much better than what we currently have. So we'll throw out another little 1-year offer. Now, unfortunately, that only leaves us with $5 million. And wide receiver obviously isn't looking too fantastic, but unfortunately, there's not many too great options in free agency. Like, I can't even afford to offer Elijah Moore here, so I might have to go see if there's any wide receivers I could potentially target in the upcoming draft. So it does look like we're going to have the 3rd pick, which currently has us mocked to take a left tackle. There's a Jay Stovall projected to go 6 to the Jets. And unfortunately, he looks like the only wide receiver worth taking in the 1st round. Which there's a few other wide receivers projected to go round 1, even though it didn't say so in the mock draft. Like Tavares Ferguson here at a Cal, 6'3", good size to him, good catching. Looks pretty good, well-rounded. This could be a guy we can maybe trade down to pick up. Actually, really good ratings. I think more than likely we're going to have to be able to target a cheap wide receiver in the draft to replace Wan'Dale Robinson. But first things first here, let's see how many of these targets we can sign. Again, keep in mind, we can lock down Gilman and lock down Zeitler. That makes it 3 out of 5 former players we bring in for Harbaugh. Which, yo, not a massive shock or anything, so I feel like we were leading for all 4, but we did successfully end up signing all 4 of our free agent targets, which means now we've officially acquired 3 of Harbaugh's former players. And in my opinion, despite the loss of Wan'Dale Robinson, the offense looking a whole lot better already with the improvement of the offensive line. Still a lot of work to be done, though, because we only have 43 players rostered, which we still got to find a new wide receiver, too, which is why we now set our sights on the NFL draft, which I did want to give one more little check. Mock draft 5, which is always the most accurate. Now, has that left tackle that did look really good. Has him going 2, so we're not going to be able to get him. Has us going defensive tackle, which is kind of like the last thing we need. Get freaking Dexter Lawrence. Wide receiver, they still have the Jets going Jay Stovall. Ooh, that other wide receiver, Tavares Tavares Ferguson, who I knew looked good, jumped all the way up in the mock draft up to 11. So I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of the receiver I want to target here. So I wonder if I could trade back to 10 and still get him. I do a little bit more scouting to make sure this Jay Stovall fella isn't, a world beater at wide receiver, isn't a generational talent. If so, I could just trade back to 5 and still get him. But I think the move here is trade back, accumulate some draft picks, and see if somehow we can still land Tavares Ferguson, which looks like he's the only other receiver that jumped in the first round projection, but I think he's the guy we're probably going to target. I mean, those skills are kind of nasty, dude. A catching, A break tackle, B short route running, A spec catch. And yeah, dude, this Jay Stovall guy is 6'2", 234. That's a really weird, odd-sized wide receiver. So let's get this draft started and see what the heck we can pull off here. First of all, let's make sure this draft is following the mock draft script. See if that quarterback goes number 1 here. But yes, Spartan, the quarterback goes, which should mean that left tackle goes here, and unfortunately, yes, he does. And now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. Now, with San Francisco hosting the big game coming up soon, I know a lot of you might be making the trip, and there's so much to explore in the city, which makes this the perfect opportunity to introduce you to Turo so you can book a car and turn your big game trip into a full travel experience. Turo is the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. You get to choose from an extraordinary selection of over 1,600 makes and models, shared by a trusted community of hosts who list their cars on the platform. So you're picking the exact car that you want, not just some random car class. And booking your car on Turo is extremely simple. Literally just type San Francisco into the search bar, pick my dates, and then filter by exactly what I want. SUVs, EVs, luxury cars, budget-friendly options, whatever it is that fits your trip. You can rent a car nearby or have it delivered exactly where you're staying, or even have it delivered right to the airport, which is exactly what I did a few years ago when I used Turo for the first time when I took Mama RBT to the Grand Canyon. Turo is available at 140 plus airports across the US and Canada, so you can skip the rental counter next time you fly. And from personal experience, it's super simple. Once you get off that plane, you'll have instructions on where the car is parked in the Turo app, and depending on the airport, you'll pick up your car at an airport designated parking lot, garages, or even curbside, which is exactly what I did. No long lines, no counters, just grab your car and go. So if you're headed to San Francisco for the big game, make sure you're in on Turo, explore the city, and turn that game day trip into a full experience. Off the surface, let's see what type of trade down offers we have. Okay, this is the worst offer I've ever seen in my life from the Texans, trading up to the number 3 pick for 2 seconds. What are we doing? The Seahawks offer is a little bit more realistic, trading at least 2 first-round picks and some more. I'm not gonna lie, these offers are kind of stinky. I need to trade down to 10 at the latest. And it looks like the best pick I'm getting offered here is pick 13 of the Raiders for literally just a 3rd, 4th, and 7th round pick. So I suppose we'll have to try these trades manually. So let's see what old Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, and these Chicago Bears are willing to give up to move up 7 spots to number 3. Absolutely would take your 2nd round pick. Would probably also take your 1st round pick from next year. I mean, I feel like that's fair, moving up all the way from 10 to 3. Let's see what they say, and they accept off the get-go. So curious to see who the Bears trade up to pick here. Okay, they went with the defensive tackle that we were projected to take. I'm telling you, I feel like the final mock draft that comes out is 100% accurate, because I'm going to go ahead and skip to our pick at number 10, and I assume our wide receiver is still going to be there, and yes, he is, because the Jets went Jay Stovall, which he didn't look too bad, but at the same time, I feel like our receiver has a little bit of an edge. If anything, they're similar, so either one, honestly. I don't mind picking Ferguson. I mean, at the same time, Sutherland here, I haven't really looked at him. I mean, he's just not fast enough. Yeah, I think I would much rather put my faith in old Tavares Ferguson here. I mean, he jumped up that many spots in the mock draft for a reason. Like, if you know Madden 26 franchise, when a player jumps that far up in a mock draft, that normally means they are pretty good. Didn't have the greatest combine in the world or anything. His agility looks like it's going to be really good. His skills, though. A catching is a big tell. He's going to be a pretty good receiver. A spec catch is another one that's pretty indicative of a receiver being pretty good. His deep route running isn't good, but I feel like Tavares is going to be a monster here. Hopefully, like, if he's a top 15 player, top 10 player, I will be ecstatic. Hopefully this guy can be a perfect Wan'Dale Robinson replacement. Come on, don't let me down, Tavares. That's not what I expected. He's the number 1 player in the draft. Soft, reliable hands, strong, reliable hands. That actually is probably the biggest shock I've had in a draft in a long time. I knew he was going to be pretty good, but not the number 1 player in the draft. Make sure he has... Oh! How does that happen? How do you end up the #1 rated player in the draft, but only have normal development trait? Oh, I am sick. All the excitement, all the hype music that was going on in the background, all is dead now. The depression is set in. Okay, let's just calm down for a second. Like, I know he has normal, and that is very, very disappointing, but at the same time, though, like, you can't be mad at taking the highest rated player in the entire draft. How's the highest rated player in the entire draft not have hidden development, dude? It's a dumb game. It's okay, though, because we will get an even better pick with our second selection in the second round. And also, don't forget, we get another pick here 8 selections later. Okay, not gonna lie here, I wouldn't mind doubling up on wide receiver because we still need another stud. And there's a lot of really good receivers that fell here in the second round. Now, keep in mind, I do pick again in 8 selections, so I think it would be overkill if we went back to back. I probably need to find another position that we need, but more than likely, I'll probably end up taking one of these receivers that fall to me to the 10th pick in the second round. Oh God, no. There were so many good left tackles I was looking at, and they must have all got drafted. There's only one more guy I think is even draftable. I just don't know if LaMarcus is worth taking, though. Oh, there was literally, I think, 7 left tackles I was looking at. I think they all got drafted in the first round. So this must be a stacked, oh God. You guys know in Madden 26 draft, when a lineman has a very, very good bench press, they typically turn out pretty solid. He has A awareness, B run block, B pass block, kind of injury prone, but based off his bench press alone, and regardless, we need a tackle badly. If he's decent, he'll probably be our starting right tackle this next season. But LaMarcus Crockett, you are the pick because you are my last hope to be able to draft ourselves a really, really good offensive lineman. And he is going to come in as the 26th best player, landed him at 34, and he has hidden dev, thank God. So not like, you know, a top 15 gem or anything, but you'll gladly take value like this, especially when they also come in as a hidden dev trait player. Now let us hope and pray one of those wide receivers that we were targeting fall to us with the 10th pick in the second round, as it looks like, oh, Acosta got drafted, which I'm not gonna lie, it kind of worries me now about Sutherland. I was kind of looking at him, but why is he fell so far? I mean, he's 5'11", kind of thick. He's just not fast is the problem. Being 5'11" and not fast isn't, you know, the best combination. But he has good catching traffic, good catching, good route running. I mean, nothing looks bad on him. I'm gonna take a shot. He might be a stinker, but being a projected first round player, I feel like he's worth the selection in a deep wide receiver class, and he's the 11th best player in the class. Got him at 42. And oh my God, I do not know how to feel about that. We drafted 2 wide receivers that were top 11 talents in the draft, but both of them come in without hidden dev trait. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, really a buzzkill, Quincy, but hopefully he can still be productive. Oh, and I forgot we don't have a 3rd round pick. We don't get to pick until the 2nd selection in the 4th round here. Oh, hold on a gosh dang second here, Mr. Eddie Malone out of Alabama. Projected undrafted free agent, but look at those key ratings. One of the strongest linemen at the draft, and again, you guys know, if you're familiar with these rebuilds, where they're projected to go doesn't mean anything. Look at that, dude. He has A awareness, A impact block, A pass block power, A pass block in general, and A pass block finesse. Might be the best pass blocking offensive lineman of all time. Now, Dylan Robinson, another guy, a day 3 projected right guard, who also looks really good, but not as good as the other guy. Dude, I'm gonna take a shot on him here in the 4th round. I think he's gonna be a stud. I think this is one of those picks, I feel like he's gonna be a top 40 talent pretty easily. Eddie, please don't let me down. Hopefully that Alabama Crimson Tide pipeline continues to be strong. He's the 13th best player. Screw top 40. Oh, I'm telling you right now, if he's normal dev, I'm gonna blow a gasket. Yes. Oh man, what a freaking pick. By far, our pick of the draft, boys. Can we keep it rolling though? Upcoming here in the 5th round. Which, fellas, this is the point in the draft which we get into defensive tackle territory, which there are some B awareness defensive tackles left. Which one of these fellas is the strongest? Ooh, this D Woodbury guy is looking pretty nasty. Oh, 40 reps of the bench press. He's about to be one of the best players in the entire draft. Look at that. He looks incredible for a 5th round player. D Woodbury, the left-handed defensive tackle out of Oklahoma State, is going to come and be a stud. Top 30 player. How about top 12? What is so weird? That is actually so strange. I think we've literally got like the top 10, 11, 12, and 13 ranked player in the entire class. Come in, hidden development as well. We can pretty much hit on every player other than wide receiver. And not going to lie, the value right now isn't too incredible here in the 5th round, so I might trade out and see if I get a 4th round pick for next year, potentially. Actually, not gonna lie, these trade offers are diabolical, dude. Why would I trade a 5th from this year for a 5th from next year? I do need a backup quarterback to Jackson Dart. We could develop one here, Oscar Breston. Maybe you could trade him away if you get into the 70s after a couple seasons. He's not the fastest. He has some pretty decent skills in there. I mean, some bad ones, obviously, but like A awareness for a quarterback is a pretty big deal. He has A play action, 8 short accuracy. So Oscar, I don't normally take quarterbacks when we have a guy like Jackson Dart, but we don't have a backup. He's gonna come in. Oh, all right, let's pretend that never happened. Hopefully more luck with my 6th round pick upcoming. Fellas, I found another unique defensive tackle. He's 6'5", 345 nose tackle, which we really don't have on the squad. Again, there's always really good defensive tackles late in draft, which is why I'm looking and scouting him. He's not the strongest, but pretty freaking fast for how big he is. Also comes in really good ratings for a guy still sitting here in the 6th round. So it kind of goes against my strongest meta. Normally take the guys that bench 225, 38, 39, 40 times. But Jordan, I think, is going to be a hidden gem here. I think he's going to be another stud D tackle, 27th best player in the draft. Do not ever in your franchises draft a defensive tackle in the first 4 rounds. You can get studs in the 5th, 6th, and maybe even 7th round. Gonna come in normal dev though. It's a little disappointing, but still can't be mad at a pick like this in the 6th. I didn't realize I didn't have a 7th round selection, so let's make sure we hit on somebody solid here. You know what? Let me see if there's a good kicker. I feel like we need a good kicker. We have Solomon Booth, who has 8 kick accuracy. Definitely the most athletic kicker, so screw it, dude. Let's get ourselves a cheap kicker on a 4-year rookie deal. It's such a funny, it's just such a hilarious screenshot. Hidden dev 2, 99 kick power, by the way. This might be the best kicker ever drafted. I'm so excited to see what those players' overalls are going to be as rookies. Again, kind of a mixed draft. A lot of high-rated players, but our 2 wide receivers, which was definitely our most important 2 positions, they didn't have hidden dev. They still should do a job for us. He's a 79 overall player that does not have hidden dev. Surely he'll still turn out all right, right? At left tackle, Marcus Crockett, who will be our starter at right tackle, comes in as a 75. Sutherland, who should be our wide receiver 3, again, normal dev, but 77 rated, just not the fastest. Eddie Malone, dude, 76 overall. So once we lose one of those older offensive linemen that probably will retire, he can step in next season. Woodbury, 76 overall defensive tackle. His quarterback was a stinker, but then Jordan Terry, so we should be good at defensive tackle for this rebuild. And that kicker too, Solomon Booth, dude, what a dog, 78 rated. But outside of the normal dev, the 2 rookie receivers, I am very happy with how things have turned out this offseason. This offensive line looks great. Our worst player is a stud rookie. And on defense, dude, like really, where is our weakness? Like our linebacker core is incredible with an insane pass rush. Like a pretty good safety tandem. Maybe the cornerback room is lacking like star lockdown number 1 potential, but still a really good group. 3 players over 80 rated, and then the defensive tackle position now has incredible depth. And literally after just 1 Mickey Mouse offseason, dude, the team's already up to an 87 overall. Like, I don't expect them to, but just based off the overall, they could compete for a Super Bowl next season. We still have a few more moves that we must make though before we start the next year, which isn't going to be easy because we don't have much cap room, but we've still got to find a way to acquire 2 former Harbaugh players. Maybe like Rashad Bateman is the kind of guy we're missing at receiver, could throw him in with those 2 young rookies and hopefully do a job for us. Like Harbaugh would know how to use them. Hopefully it won't come way too expensive. Keep in mind too, dude, we have some really good draft picks, so I might actually be able to do better than Rashad Bateman. What are the odds that I could acquire Nate Wiggins? That would mean probably right then and there, we'd have the deepest cornerback room in the National Football League. Like, you add Nate Wiggins to a room that already has Kool-Aid McKinstry, Drew Phillips, Paulson Adebo, Deontay Banks. I feel like that'd be the best 5 cornerback group in the league. And I'm not gonna lie either, I would not whatsoever mind trading away this number 2 pick in the draft currently projected, because I feel like we're gonna exceed expectations vastly this season. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we end up picking like 30 or 31st next year. So I feel like it's super smart right now to get rid of this first round pick while the value is as high as it is. And I feel like we could do some finagling here. If the Ravens pick isn't way too ridiculously high, they're predicted to pick number 22. So I wonder if we could just swap picks here and pick up Nate Wiggins. I don't know. I have no idea. It's very close. That's crazy. What if we got rid of Deontay Banks? Because we don't really need 5 cornerbacks, and we probably won't spend the money to re-sign him. We didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so I feel like this is actually going to work, and this is going to be insane, and yes, it is. What the heck just happened? Pretty much just added Nate Wiggins for absolutely nothing. Him, Kool-Aid, Drew Phillips, Paulson Devo in the same room. That's actually pretty freaking phenomenal. Now, what are the odds there's any former Harbaugh coach player sitting here in free agency at a position that we need depth help at? Well, Jadeveon Clowney played under Harbaugh for a few seasons, as obviously did Kyle Van Noy, and I suppose we could use some edge depth. So screw it, dude. Me and Harbaugh will gladly sign Jadeveon Clowney as some edge depth. Oh, you know what? Speaking of former Harbaugh players, what about Isaiah Likely here? Because we have no depth at all at tight end, and I feel like he could end up being better than Theo Johnson. Maybe we could play 2 tight ends. I don't know. But he just signed here in New York, and he's the backup here to Mason Taylor. So I feel like we can get him for pretty cheap. Oh, wow. 4th-round pick was not expected at all. I'm kind of mad I did that, because I probably could have got him for a 5th. But hey, here's a 6th former Harbaugh player. So fellas, I think we are ready to roll for John Harbaugh's first season. Completely revamp this offensive line outside of Andrew Thomas. This should be a top 5 unit in the league, although the average age is probably like 46. I'm excited to see how much Jackson Dart can develop here in year number 2. Same thing, Cam Scatteraboo, now a little healthy, up to an 85 rated. Wide receiver room is going to be interesting outside of Malik Neighbors, who also is back fully healthy. 2 rookies that are very talented, hopefully can just develop faster than what we anticipate with their dev traits. Also, Jackson Dart has 2 really good young tight ends to throw to as well, so he's not just limited to his wide receiver 1 and those young guys who are unproven. Moving on to defense, dude, it is looking fantastic too. Linebacker group looks phenomenal. Extremely good pass rush, especially when you consider Abdul Carter here should progress even further here in year number 2 as a superstar. Safety room looks great. Cornerback room's probably top 5 in the league. I think we are ready to roll all the way to the playoffs, and I'm not gonna lie, I would be very disappointed if we don't make the playoffs this season. I don't know if we'll win our division, especially being the NFC East, but I could see us win 9, 10, maybe even 11 games and earn ourselves a wild card spot. Well, boys, multiple questions to be had here. Number 1, how do we go 15-2? Number 2, how do we go 15-2 and not earn a first-round bye? That's because we ended up tied with the Packers, and they got the tiebreaker somehow. So that, I mean, just so much has happened that I did not anticipate, and I want to see how. Well, started off the season quite miraculously, winning our first 8 games before dropping 1 by 3 to the Cowboys. Then we won 5 more in a row, lost by to the Jags. I'm not gonna lie, dudes, we were literally 5 points away from going undefeated. I still don't understand how we lost the tiebreaker to the Packers, though. They can't be mad at it. I gotta see, how did we get here? Offense came in number 3 unit in the National Football League. Phenomenal. Defense coming in 6th in the league. Jackson Dart, take a freaking bow, son. 4,100 yards, 31 tutties, only 6 picks with a fantastic completion percentage. On the ground, Cam Scatteraboo, you sexy boy. 1,500 yards running behind that incredible offensive line. 5.3 yards per carry and 5 touchdowns with only a singular fumble. 59 broken tackles isn't too shabby either. Look at Jackson Dart, 7 tutties on the ground. Just curious, is 59 broken tackles the most broken tackles in the National Football League? No. It looks like he's just a little bit behind Isaiah Pacheco. You're telling me Isaiah Pacheco ends the season with more broken tackles than Derrick Henry. Just don't believe it. How those young rookie receivers do. So, Tavares Ferguson, screw that normal dev trait. 100 grabs on the dot. 1,355 yards, 12 touchdowns, leading the team in both categories. Malik Neighbors, pretty good himself. 1,200 yards, 99 grabs, 8 touchdowns, and even Sutherland, who was a little disappointing. Good overall, is a little disappointing, kind of chunky, kind of slow, but still decent rookie season as number 3 receiver. 650 yards, 3 touchdowns. Theo Johnson, Cam Scatteraboo, 3 touchdowns themselves through the air. And defensively, who did the nasty work? Looks like Brian Burns, 14 sacks. Abdul Carter, 11.5. Dexter Lawrence with 11 himself. And this guy, who I made fun of earlier, into the season, 5.5 sacks. More than Devin Bush with what? A 4th the amount of tackles? So maybe I shouldn't even have bothered giving Devin Bush that money. Ooh, so we have Jackson Dart finish 6th in the MVP. Maybe if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, we can win MVP next season. And would you look at this? Jonathan Harbaugh, his first year as New York Giants head coach, ends up being voted Coach of the Year. Interesting Offensive Player of the Year award in the AFC, going to Parker Washington and the Buffalo Bills, which actually kind of sounds like a deadly combination. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Josh Hines Allen, so a lot of craziness going on. Now, when you move over to the NFC, what we we care about, Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. We didn't have anybody finish top 10. Offensive Player of the Year, though, goes to Kendrick Bourne on the Rams. What is this? Offensive Player of the Year is Kendrick Bourne and Parker Washington in their respective conferences. Just a bunch of nonsense. Funny, we literally had 4, 5, and 6. Now, what I care about, Offensive Rookie of the Year, because if Tavares Ferguson can win Offensive Rookie of the Year, that more than likely means he'll actually get a bump in that dev trade that started at normal, and he is going to come in as your Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's go. Also had Sutherland come to the top 10 at number 7, and Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Sam Lake, the fella that we passed on. But why take defensive tackle at number 3 overall when you could get the guy who finished 8th in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting? What, in the friggin' 6th round? I'm excited to see at the end of the season, our team's overall is now up to an 89, 91 offense, and 87 defense. Outside of maybe the offensive line, the team's just gonna get better next year because everybody's young, everybody's gonna progress. Holy crap, dude. Ferguson all the way up to an 86 overall already. So he's already the same overall as what Wan'Dale Robinson was. So thank God we got rid of him. Now, I will say, if we went through all of that just to lose in the wildcard round, I'll be very, very disappointed, especially when you consider we were just 5 points away from going 17-0. Let's do it, though. Let's rip off the Band-Aid and see what happens upcoming in the divisional round as we lost. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. 14-point fourth quarter from the Bucks knocks us out wildcard round. Jackson Dart, a little bit of a stinker. He ran the ball well. Ferguson balled out. Just, I don't know, his team a little bit too early. A little bit too early with their progression. But despite the loss, gonna hold my head up high because I have a sneaky suspicion if we can replenish the offensive line, because these two guys are probably gonna retire. But if we can do that, I have a sneaky suspicion this team's gonna be even better in year number 3, which should lead to a Super Bowl win. At least a Super Bowl run. At bare minimum, not a first round exit. I will feel much better though if the Bucks end up going on a run, winning the Super Bowl. Wait, there's just no shot. I don't believe it. John Harbaugh's former team is just not going to win the Super Bowl 2 straight seasons. I just refuse to believe it. Well, boys, maybe John was the problem. But you know what else is a problem now for the rest of the football league, including the Baltimore Ravens? That John Harbaugh and his team has $83 million to spend this offseason. And outside of that, boys, the team has made some moves. Cam Scatterboo up to superstar. That young receiver skipped all the way from normal depth to superstar. Defensively, I think the only bit of movement that we had was Devon Holland up to superstar, if he wasn't already. Wait, it is a little bit of bad news, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why they would retire at this point in time, knowing what they could get themselves into next season, but Davion Clowney and then our 2 guards did retire after the first season under John Harbaugh for the 2nd time in their career. But good news, as you might have already saw, that young guard that we drafted maybe, what, 4th, 5th round last year, is already a superstar. So we should at least fill in the shoes of one of those guys that retired. We can just lock in 1 star guard this offseason. We should be gold, especially with the money we got to spend. Scratch that, actually got 90 mil. And yes, some big decisions to be made here at the start of the offseason. We do, of course, need to accept Malik Neighbors' 5th-year option. Same thing here with Nate Wiggins. So if we do make it to a following season, we're going to have to muster up some big money, these 2 guys. Now, decisions. These 2 guys could care less. John Michael Smits, I mean, he could be our last option at right guard, but I don't want to give him that money. I mean, maybe he could be good depth for us. We have $90 million to spend. He's been here for a while. So we'll give him a little 2-year offer, be a depth guy, see if he accepts, which he does. So good decision, young man. Now, Bobby here, a defensive captain for us, only 80 overall, asking for $20 million in a 2-year contract, which he's like 31 years old, so it'll be even worse next year. Feel like I'm going to let Bobby walk. We probably can sign a high overall middle linebacker out of free agency. If there's not a better one, we probably can just re-sign him out of free agency ourselves if he's the best available. But let us hope and pray here that it's a loaded free agent class. $85 million to spend, $85 million to waste. Just don't be a dud. And it is interesting. Everybody's old, man. So I'm going to have to pick and choose wisely. Trevon Walker making it to free agency is kind of crazy. A 26-year-old stud pass rusher in the middle of his prime. But like, I already have Abdul Carter, already have Brian Burns. So I feel like he'd just be a waste, unfortunately. Now, Laramie Tunsil's interesting here because we could possibly maybe move him inside to guard late in his career. He's asking for a lot of money, but again, just be a 1-year option for us, and I feel like he might be exactly what we need. Tied with the other teams. We have money though. We will overpay if we need to because right guard is a desperate need for us. If I gotta offer him $30 million a season, I got to. And there it is, officially in the lead for the Laramie Tunsil sweepstakes. Now, in terms of former Harbaugh players, should I bring in Marlon Humphrey just for the vibes? I mean, I'll give him a 1-year offer, but I'm not gonna be be upset if he doesn't accept, which apparently nobody else wants him. I'm not gonna lie, kind of shocked at the amount of really talented edge rushers that are making it into free agency. I kind of wish that was a need for us, but it isn't. I'm not gonna waste money if I don't got to. Now, Brandon Jones, like, I'm wondering if I could sign him, convert him to strong safety, and then maybe trade away Gilman. He's a safety, so he's not gonna ask for too much. He's at 85 rated, which is, I mean, for overall bump would be pretty massive. He is 29, so he's not gonna get much better. But I wouldn't mind the offer. All right, we're tied with the Titans, tied with the Raiders. So if I can pass him up, I'll offer him just a little bit more. Nothing crazy. Goal position of first place. Now, are there any talented middle linebackers? There's not. Now, the question, anybody that makes sense to maybe convert inside? We have Drew Tranquil and DeMarvion Overshown, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that. Be a scheme fit for us. We could move him to the inside. Not asking for too much money at all. He's actually asking for less than what Bobby was. So I kind of like this. Let's give him exactly what he's asking for, maybe a little bit more, because he's definitely not breaking the bank. Oh, and we're tied with 3 other teams. I actually really want him. So if we don't land him, we might have to trade for middle linebacker. So with them already asking for so little, I'll up it a little bit. Hopefully that's enough to take the lead, which I think it in fact is. Now, only other player I do want to offer is Hunter Henry here. So I'm wondering if I can just get him on a 1-year contract. I know we already have Theo Johnson and Isaiah Likely, but like he'd be a really good target for Jackson Dart just for a season. But I feel like there's gonna be other teams with better offers because I'm only gonna offer him 1 year. Now, we're tied with the Eagles and Patriots. I did have some money left over. If maybe that would be enough to entice them. I'm not gonna be way too crazy with it though. Yeah, still tied with those other teams. So if we don't land Hunter Henry, again, that's not the end of the world. But I feel like this is a pretty good list of potential free agents, man. If we could just land 3 of these guys, I'd be happy with it. My main guys I really do want: Laramie Tunsil, Brandon Jones, DeMarvion Overshown, Marlon Humphrey, Hunter Henry, just kind of extras. So let us see. Can we go 5 for 5? All right, we'll gladly take it. Land 4 for 5 targets. Got Marlon Humphrey as the extra. I'm assuming that means we did not land Hunter Henry as he decided to go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, is there anybody else that I could potentially use with that money? I really don't think there's anybody else that I'm way too interested in. Wait, I totally forgot that we did have 2 upcoming first round picks. Now, the question is, okay, we own pick number 10 and pick 32. Okay, because this was the Ravens pick, which is fine because we swapped pick, I think, like 26 for 32 to get Nate Wiggins. But I'm wondering if there's some superstar out there that we can trade for with this 10th pick and still have a first round selection at the end of the first round. I'm wondering if there's somebody that we could add that could drastically improve our roster for next season, and I'd be willing to do it because we have, you know, like I said, all the picks. Brother, this offensive line is phenomenal. Laramie Tunsil converted to guard is an 89 overall, so his overall got bumped up by 2. I didn't realize Malone here, the 2nd-year guard, when he was put in as left guard in the starting lineup, he was an 80, but his natural position is right guard, where his overall is 85. So, brother, I think we've assembled the Avengers. Like, we're up to a 90 overall team, and I'm not done scheming yet. Like, I don't even know what position we could actually use, man. Like, maybe bring in a better wide receiver 3 and see if I can get a premier tight end. Now, outside of the draft picks I'm willing to give away, the players I'm willing to start this trade with: Gilman, who is now the backup strong safety. We also have Tyler Nubin back there, so there's just no point in having all this money allocated here. Also, at the same time, don't mind getting rid of Paulson Adebo. That'll free up an extra $10 million a season, and like, we don't need them. We got Nate Wiggins, Humphrey, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Drew Phillips. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the first offer we were given for those 2 fellas, not too impressive. These teams must be drunk, must be rather intoxicated, but I believe they're going to change their tone once we do throw in a potential number 10 overall pick. Okay, now it's getting kind of frisky. Well, they're offering me Travis Hunter. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of enticed. If they're offering me Travis freaking Hunter, dude, we might be able to get kind of frisky here. Whoa. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I didn't think this would be accepted. You might be wondering, what are you talking about? You just threw in a 76 overall tight end. Hold the freaking phone. He's not just any 76 rated tight end. He's an X Factor rookie tight end. Only a 76 overall currently, but that should rise rather quickly. And also, don't forget, you know, no big deal, brought in Travis Hunter as another wide receiver on this roster, which also, don't forget, he can play cornerback for us too. So, I'm not gonna lie, fellas, I feel like at this point, like, keep in mind, we still have the draft to go, but I feel like it's Super Bowl or bust next season. So just out of pure curiosity, I want to see who they have us projected to take with the last pick in the first round. Again, remember, we own the Ravens pick, who just, of course, won the Super Bowl second year after firing John Harbaugh. Has us going with a Sam linebacker, which is, I feel like, kind of boring. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did some preliminary scouting, just kind of looked around, and I have a feeling this is a pretty loaded draft class, so expect some greatness here. So who's going to be the first gym that we draft here today? Oh, I've got it, boys. Without a doubt in my freaking mind. Max Rivers here. Strongest offensive lineman in the entire draft with 39 reps to the bench press. Also, one of the fastest, which is typically a pretty good combination. Also, look at these ratings, dude. The best run blocker in the draft. B pass block. This guy, I'm telling you, I just know this game too well. He is going to be a top 5 player. Max Rivers, about to be a stud, is going to come in as, I mean, it's just the easiest game. Say what you want to say about Madden 26, but this by far is the game I've been the best at drafting at. It's just too easy to pick out these trends. You know what made this pick even easier? Check out that number. I just can't keep getting away with this dude. This guy's gonna be our long-term Laramie Tunsil replacement, surely. No chance I do it again here in the second round, right? I don't think the Madden guys would allow it. I don't even know if we have a Sam linebacker on the entire roster. Look at these guys. Kirk Izzo looks like the best, and he actually looks pretty good. 25 reps of the bench press, relatively fast. B awareness, always a good sign. B block, shed, A tackle, A pursuit. So Mr. Izzo, you are going to be the selection, and I have a feeling you're about to be a very, very good value pick. Coming in, 38th in true value, got him at 56. W there, and another W here. Ooh, 87 speed, 91 excel, kind of crazy for a 240-pound linebacker. We're going to keep juicing up the roster, boys. We pick again here just a few selections later. Now, third round's always kind of a sketchy spot in the drafts, and since I already have a third round pick a little bit later, I might try to trade this one away, which let's see what we're being offered here. Getting offered a third for next year. Okay, a second for next year. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of liking the offer the most from probably the 49ers. Screw it, we'll accept this. I know we're getting a 6th round pick for 2027, but I'll probably trade that away too. Get another pick for 2028. Maybe use that and trade the bolster roster next year. I didn't mind trading that away though, because I have another pick coming up here in the 3rd round. Although I didn't know I didn't have a 4th round pick. Kind of forgot about that. Now, I could use some running back depth. We have Jeff Lawrence here out of Toledo. He's pretty fast. Ran a 4.37 at his pro day, which to be fair, doesn't look like we have much scouted on him. But he's by far the best running back left on the board, which we do need some depth there, and he's going to come in as kind of a stinker. First real stinker pick of the draft. Yeah, just garbage. So can we please make up for that nonsense with our upcoming 5th round selection? Wait a minute, there's a cornerback still with A awareness. Hold the phone. A awareness typically means something kind of nasty for a cornerback. He's a projected undrafted free agent. Hold on a second. Did we just hit on a stud? I know he's not fast or anything, but look at the rest of his combine. In pretty much every drill outside of the 40-yard dash, he came in first. Oh my, he has a zone. I know his man's kind of stinky, but he might be one of the best zone corners in the draft. I mean, it's just like so easy to spot these guys. Like, again, I could be completely wrong here, but you combine this insane combine and pro day with A awareness and A zone coverage. I'm thinking this could be a 1st round talent player, although he's projected to go undrafted. Taylor Parks, don't let me down. I mean, there's nobody else drafts better than me. I didn't expect that. I expected maybe like 30 or like maybe 20 tops, but 3rd best player in the class, and just the cherry on top. Hey, look at those athletic ratings, which is exactly why I took him, because he had such a good combine and pro day compared to his peers. 94 excel, 90 agility, 88 change of direction, 88 jumping, and 90 speed. Pretty much everything is elite, dude. Like, we might have just drafted ourselves a freaking all-pro corner. There's just no shot, no way I can top that, right? I legitimately think it's impossible. Wait a second. Maybe, actually. They make it too easy. Like, late in the draft, dude, after like the 4th round, just look at defensive tackle, guard, and cornerback. Sometimes wide receiver. Kelvin Lincoln here looks very, very good. Not the strongest, but A awareness is always a given. I guess 9 times out of 10, an A awareness prospect comes in a stud. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be like the best player in the draft or anything, but I think this is probably like a 2nd round talent. He's gonna come in. I love it. I love drafting. It's like one of the few things in life I'm actually good at. I'm telling you, if we do this again here, I need to be investigated by the U.S. government. So I'm just gonna take the fastest remaining receiver, Javier Griffith here. I'm like, his ratings look terrible. Ran a 4.31 at the pro day, so probably has like 98 speed. He's gonna suck. I just want to know what that speed is. Comes in at 207. It's not like he's ranked 300 or anything. Hidden dev though, although I'm a little disappointed at 93 speed. team. And honestly here, we got a kicker last year. Let me see if I can find a good punter. Nick Marino comes in A awareness, A kick accuracy. Joey Hutton comes in as the fastest with, D awareness. So I feel like the top guy on the board, Nick Marino, is going to be our long-term punter. And watch him be like a top 5 ranked player. He's going to be, okay, not quite like the kicker last year, 88th in true value, which is still good. Comes in normal dev, so he might actually suck. But honestly, my favorite moment of the rebuilds, ending the draft and going to see what all those players' overalls are. I'm assuming another back-to-back banger draft class. And boy, is it, oh my goodness, Maximum Rivers, 81 rated. We got him at the end of the first round. Like I said, too easy. Too easy for a stud like yours truly. Kirk Izzo, kind of a banger pick, 75 rated. That cornerback dude is projected to go undrafted. It is a 78. That's just so crazy to me. Lincoln has a 76 rated in the 6th round. It's just nuts. Last 2 picks, kind of garbage. So outside the running back, outside the last 2 picks, that again was just a 10 out of 10 draft. So I think John Harbaugh's year number 2 Giant squad is ready to roll. Coming in as a 90 overall, 92 offense, 89 defense, and they're just going to get better. New additions this season. Larry Tunsil, Malone's getting the start. Even though he's not the highest rated in his position, we're giving the young superstar X-Factor tight end the start over Theo Johnson. Also, don't forget, we picked up some random named Travis Hunter. And defensively, dude, we're better than ever. Moved Devin Bush to the inside. He's going to be our middle linebacker as Overshown's going to play Will. Brandon Jones coming in, converted strong safety. And I'm not even trolling you, dude. This might be the best overall cornerback room ever assembled. It kind of sucks because, Taylor Park's not even get playing time. So I know it feels impossible to top a 15-win season, but at the same time, dude, with how much better we are this year, I'll be a little disappointed if we don't finish better than last year. All right, no complaining here. 1 win less than a year ago, but at the same time, got a first round bye, so who cares? All right, had a little stinky week 6 and 7, losing 2 games to the Patriots and Eagles, then dropped a game week 11 to the Packers. But the good news, boys, is we finished the season off with a bang, scored at least 31 points in our last, 5-6 football games? Haven't lost since the end of October, so good news, we're playing our best football at the perfect time. We even beat the Bills and Josh Allen 45-7. Was quite the impossible task, but yes, the offense finished better than last year, finishing 3 in the NFL. Defense was number 1. Jackson Dart impregnate me. 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, 71% completion percentage, but not quite as impressive as these lone 2 interceptions. Might have been good enough for him to win MVP this year. Now on the ground, Cam Scadaboo is just getting better and better every season. John Harbaugh loves this guy. 5.5 yards per carry, spread out over 300 on the season, 1,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, and again, just a lone fumble. Why Tavares Ferguson is getting 19 carries this season, 3 touchdowns on the ground, I don't know, but it's cool. Okay, very interesting discrepancy here at wide receiver, as Malik Neighbors leads the team in catches and yards, but Tavares Ferguson, 18 touchdowns this year. Travis Hunter, his first season as a Giant, not bad, 758 yards, although he just could not get in the end zone. Look at that young superstar X-Factor tight end, put up better numbers than Theo Johnson did. I do want to see. He's up to an 82, so he already is better than Theo Johnson. Now, since we finished number 1 this season in defense, who did the good things for us? Looks like a couple of folks did. We had Abdul Carter, actually, was our only player to get double-digit sacks. So, real disappointed, not gonna lie. Although, look at D, the guy we drafted, 4th, 5th round last year, 6 sacks from defensive tackle. MVP this year goes to Joe Burrow, but Jackson Dart in 2nd. That's gross. He was shafted this year, but he's gonna take it out of the NFL in the playoffs. Oh, would you look at that? Coach of the year for the 2nd straight season, so seems like the Ravens made a mistake. Okay, what performance-enhancing drugs is Parker Washington taking in Buffalo? 2nd straight year, he's won Offensive Player of the Year. Defense goes to TJ Watt, but now our neck of the woods in the NFC goes to Jared Verse. We had Abdul Carter come in 5th. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Austin Powell. Aw, Cam Scadaboo, Ferguson robbed. Everybody shafted out of their awards. I'm telling you right now, going to take out their anger in the NFL universe and bring the Giants back to the pinnacle of the sport. Can you just please give me a rather easy matchup in the divisional round so we can actually win a playoff game for once? The Packers. I don't really like it. Isn't that like one of the teams we lost to in the regular season? We lose 3 games all season long. And yes, one of them was to the Packers week 11. One of the 3 teams we lose to all season, with only 2 of them being the AFC. And of course, we have to match up with them in our first playoff game. Oh, come on, man. John Harbaugh has put in a major shift here in New York. This is basically a season and a half now he's been at the helm. And after 2 consecutive Coach of the Years, he deserves a playoff win here. Time to get revenge on the Grassi posse here for beating us in the regular season? Yes, 28-17. to 23. Doesn't get much easier though, as we have to beat out the 14-3 Detroit Lions. But if we win this game, John Harbaugh, in just 2 seasons, has brought the Giants back to the Super Bowl. Won't be too easy on the other side. Have to be either the Broncos and Sean Payton or Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid at the face. But I do feel like I saw we did play the Lions this season. No, we didn't. I was really hoping we did. We beat them by 50, but nah. That was the Cardinals. Lions defense playing out of their freaking skulls right now. Held the Eagles to just 3 points last week. On our side of things, wasn't close, as the Packers and the Grossi Posse, 13-point fourth quarter, about broke my heart. We got the dub one way or another. It's all that matters. Ooh, good little quarterback duel here. Jackson Dart, much better than his playoff performance a year ago. What a shift, though, from the old offensive line, not allowing a single sack all game long on the ground. Ooh, they actually beat us on the ground, too. But would you look at old Tavares Ferguson, man, what a freaking human. 2 tutties on 85 yards. And hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling, as we need one more win against the Fighting Dan Campbells for John Harbaugh to bring this storied franchise back to the big game. And he's done it! What a legend! Oh, how interesting. We pretty much had the same score 2 consecutive games. Won 28-24 after winning 28-23 a week ago. So again, a very, very close matchup. Very, very similar numbers all the way around, which is really strange. Jackson Dart, what a game. 4 touchdowns, did throw a pick. But look at the offensive line, though. Only allowing 1 sack through 2 playoff games right now. Outgained to the ground for the 2nd straight game, but at the same time, that's a fine game from Scatterboo. And Malik Neighbors taking over this game, 6 grabs for 87 yards. But look at Travis Hunter. Doubled his receiving touchdown total from the regular season when his team needed him the most. So we've taken down the Grossi Posse. We've slayed the Fighting Dan Campbells. Now all we gotta do is take down the 2nd greatest quarterback of all time. And the very, very good news, brethren, in week 3 of the regular season, already slayed those Chiefs 24-21. Question is though, can we do it again when it matters the most? So as it always goes here on the channel, this entire John Harbaugh Giants rebuild all comes down to the click of a button. Let me warn you boys, it goes fast. Hopefully with a fast start for the Chiefs. Unfortunately, 7-0. Well, I don't like it. Don't like it at all. We tie things up before halftime. Chiefs, though, 10-point lead. We're fighting, though. We are fighting. We take the lead. 21-17. Strike again. Let's go! John Harbaugh officially solidifies himself as the first head coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl as head coach of one NFL organization, only to get fired to lead a 2nd team to a Super Bowl. Good guy. Now, if you enjoyed that masterclass of a rebuild, you can click right here to watch another one where I rebuild the Pittsburgh Steelers post-Mike Tomlin era.